Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, our praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Makakudash, Brakatham. Double honor shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, a great millstone of like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to the sincere Aquats who are continuously learning in silence, as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right, Jakes. So, today's lesson, the name of it, Abaratazah, Lord willing, is going to be the airport closures. All right? Because that's where we're possibly heading due to this TSA walkouts, all right, at the airports in the United States. And I did a video similar to this maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and the name of it is Babylon is Not Paying. All right, so when you get a chance, try to catch that video as well. All right. So we're in this time now. We're in these times, in these last days, where these things are taking place. And guess what? We're laughing. Us 1/3 of the hopeful elect men, women, and children. We're just kicking back and we just chillaxing, and we just eating popcorn, and we're laughing at the calamities of what's going on within Babylon the Great. So you got this guy here, the Snyder Reports. You know, this dude should be familiar to you guys by now. So he has this video breaking news. U.S. airports could shut down amid crisis. All right. And I want you to pay attention to how this guy is just paranoid. He's definitely not the man of the elect, because he is definitely paranoid. All right. And he's just going off the chain. All right. He's scared. He's afraid. All right. So, Abaratazah, Lord willing, I'm going to play this entire video, which is about 9 minutes long. But before I do so, fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act. For this video is strictly for education and edification purposes only. I'm not making a dime off this video. You heard? So I'll play this video, then pull up some precepts, and then call it a day. Let's go.
According to the White House, the United States may be forced to shut down airports amid this standoff with the Department of Homeland Security. This is a complete catastrophe. Millions of people could be stranded. People could be forced to use different airports. Other workers will be temporarily let go and furloughed. Think about that for a second. We are about to see airports shut down. This is not just going to harm TSA workers. This is going to harm others as well. Pilots, flight attendants, people that work in the restaurants, the janitorial staff, other mechanics, and other workers that work at the airlines. This disaster is turning into something even greater. Look at this. It says, U.S. says it may be forced to shut down some airports over funding standoff. That was just announced today. Listen to this. It says, a senior Trump administration official said on Tuesday that if a government funding standoff continues, it may force the shutdown of some smaller airports in the coming weeks, owing to a shortage of security personnel. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks as well, is that this little standoff between Republicans and Democrats over the Department of Homeland Security funding, which essentially isn't really about the Department of Homeland Security per se. It's about the ICE agents. That's the big standoff. That's the big question mark, is what are we going to do there? But TSA agents are now in the middle. They are now being pulled apart, many of which cannot afford food, can't afford their home, their car payment, gas, getting back and forth from work, which right now is surging. But listen to this right here.
Unlike other federal agencies, such as ICE and CBP, TSA employees are working without pay. Many are coping with eviction notices, vehicle repossessions, empty refrigerators, and overdrawn bank accounts. Every available financial option has been exhausted.
I know several people that work for...
Let's stop right there. So, you heard what that brother said, the union rep for those TSA workers, and he's in distress, all right? But again, these are the results when you're not truly serving the Lord like you're commanded to do so. So, Proverbs 1:26, and it reads, I also will laugh at your calamity. That's what we're doing right now. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and the hopeful 1/3 of the elect of the Lord, we're laughing at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And they're in fear right now, including this guy. All right, you see how he's going on in a paranoid state of mind? Verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Woo! So those are the words of King Solomon. All right? So let's continue.
TSA, and I've only met them because of the videos I've done about this, but these people that I've talked to, communicated with, they're saying the exact same thing, that they have pretty much taken all the money out of their retirement. They have taken all the money from like savings, college things, anything that they put towards their kids, they pulled it all back. Some of which have sold vehicles in order to just pay for their food, pay for their house, the other car payment. They've done so many different things. And like this person saying, they have pretty much exhausted all financial options. And now they have nothing left. Let's keep listening.
New reporting finds at least 366 TSA officers have quit in the last month as the nationwide call-out rate surged to 10.19% on Sunday, compared with about 2% before the government shutdown. So now travelers are facing these long lines at certain airports as the staffing shortages collide with the major winter storm.
And I know a lot of people say this one thing. Well, these TSA workers, they are technically still getting paid, but it won't be until after this partial government shutdown ends. Here's the issue. Okay, let's say you work for whatever company you work for, and they are going to pay you, and there's a promise to pay you. But the concern is that you may have to work for several months without any pay. Here's the issue. Millions of people work paycheck to paycheck. Here in the United States, the majority of Americans work paycheck to paycheck. I think it's like 58% of Americans are working paycheck to paycheck. That means if they do not receive one paycheck, they're going to be behind on all their bills. If they don't receive two paychecks, they will likely be behind on everything and some. There's no way to put food on the table. No way to put gas in your gas tank to get to work. Think about that for a second. So when these Trump administration officials are saying that they may be forced to close smaller airports, it's not a threat. This is a huge concern because this is likely coming. I want to play something else.
You got to hear about this thing. There's this new pair of glasses out there. It's basically an automatic 20/20 vision device for your eyes. I mean, this thing is nuts.
Listen to this.
They should be paid. This is ridiculous. A lot of people
All right, so this is likely to come. with the smaller airports closing first. And then if this trend continues as far as these TSA workers walking out on their jobs, then what this will probably end up resulting in is that the main airports like JFK International, LAX International, O'Hare International, even the Atlanta airport, what's that, Hatfield, right? International Airport. These major hubs, they're going to start to partially close down. So it's going to probably be a domino effect. It's going to start off with the smaller airports, and then eventually it will reach these major airport hubs. You heard? Then that's when things are going to really be interesting. Let's continue.
Paycheck to paycheck. So, missing a paycheck is a huge deal.
I don't agree with it. I think they should get the paychecks. I mean, I would definitely want to get paid if I'm doing that job, so it's pretty messed up.
President Trump's message to unpaid TSA agents: keep fighting for the USA. Go to work.
Yeah. President Trump said, go to work. Okay? Telling them to go to work. Now, here's the interesting thing.
And again, these Edomites are not fit to rule. They truly not. Because you hear what Orange Man Trump says? He's telling you guys, as far as the TSA agents, to go to work. But don't expect a paycheck. But yet, you think he's going to allow that to happen to him and his fams? Hell no. All right? So again, these Edomites are not fit to rule. They're definitely not going to rule when the Jacob's heaven comes about into existence soon. All right? And for good reason. Let's continue.
This is why I'm breaking this down. The concern right now is that we just hit 10.91%, something like that, okay, or 19%. That's the call out rate. Again, that's staggering. Normally, it's under 2%. So before this whole shutdown, it was under 2%. Again, that's normal. But here's the issue, okay, that we may see smaller airports shut down. This means that all the traffic going to the larger airports, and again, I want to paint this picture because this is exactly what one of my friends told me, which he works in Dallas, okay, for DFW. Now, here's the issue. He works as a TSA agent in Dallas. Again, big airport. But this is what he said. What if they shut down all the other smaller airports? Okay, all the other smaller airports within a few hundred miles of Dallas. Okay, maybe 500 miles of Dallas. Guess what's going to happen? All those people now have to go to the larger airports. So guess what? They have longer lines. And guess what the TSA agents are going to be thinking? Why am I here? What are we doing? Why am I going to deal with even more people and still I'm not getting paid? So then what's going to happen is you are likely going to see even more call-outs. Think about that for a second. Closing airports seems like the best option because they can take those TSA agents, tell them, you know what? Don't go here. I need you to go to work here at DFW. Well, and I don't know how many small airports are around that, but I'm just using it as an example. But what if they say, don't go work at this airport. I need you to go to Dallas Fort Worth. Go to that airport. That's where you're gonna conduct your shift. Guess what? They could be like, I lived 10 miles from the previous airport. There's no way I'm going to drive 50 miles to go work for a different airport when I don't have the money to get there. Are you going to put gas in my tank? Are you going to do that? No. That's the issue. So right now, when they're saying that they could be forced to shut down airports, that's a huge concern. I want to read something to you. It says right here, Department of Homeland Security said 266 TSA officers have left during the shutdown. On Sunday and Monday, absences spiked over 50% in Houston and more than 30% in New Orleans and Atlanta, with travelers sometimes enduring lines of 2 hours or longer. Here's the other issue. Do you think the Department of Homeland Security has learned about all the TSA agents that have quit? No. I highly doubt it. There's probably only a small percentage that have actually called in and said, you know what, I quit. All the rest, they're just absent. They just aren't calling back. So they're technically not quitting. They quit, but they haven't made that final call. That's the big issue. But look at this right here. This came out this morning. It says, Senate Democrats send Department of Homeland Security counteroffer to Trump as shutdown drags on. It says, the shutdown is dragging on into its second month after repeated negotiations between the White House and Senate Democrats. Travelers in the U.S. have been delayed by the shutdown as TSA worker shortages cause pileups at airport security lines. Okay, now, this counteroffer are we going to go anywhere with this? That I don't know. All I'm here to tell you is that them sending a counter proposal, hopefully this leads to something, because if not, right now that many people, millions across the United States, are heading out for spring break, this is just going to be the start of a catastrophe. So we'll see what happens, but let me know your thoughts. Do you think shutting down smaller airports is the right move? Or do you?
All right. So for you Jakes out there that still want to go down for spring break and go here and go there and go every damn where, I don't know how many times us men of the Lord have to continue to say it. The mirth is over. Seriously. Big time. Real talk. All right? Because the Lord is shutting down Babylon for good. And as a, true man of the Lord and a hopeful elect to witness salvation, myself, this is what I'm pulling for. Hell yeah. I'm cheering this song. Hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Okay? Because these things must come to pass before Yahweh Shai Hamashiach makes his triumphant return. All right? So let's go to the precepts. These are familiar precepts that you guys should be familiar with by now. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns. And remember, the two horns represent the two political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, like a lamb. And the lamb would be Babylon the Great, America. And he spake as a dragon. Again, so the dragon represents the draconian laws and legislations, because, come on, man. How does Esau expect people, and especially us Jakes, because we're always at the bottom of the totem damn pole, to work and not get paid? Listen, you might as well just hit the rewind button and go back to the slavery times, where we're still in those shackles and chains and the yokes. All right? And believe me, especially these Amaleks, if they had their way, that's what we'll still be in that situation right now. You heard? 2nd Esdras 15:17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Again, to me, this could be a form of martial law. All right? Because when these airports shut down, and unless you have a car, and unless you can get on a train or a bus, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. All right? You shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. We're getting to that point, slowly but surely. Deuteronomy 24:14, it reads, thou shalt not oppress. And, this is a form of oppression, because it's already bad enough that these dudes and dudettes, they got to wait every 2 weeks to get their paychecks. this is a form of oppression, but then now they're not getting a dime? And this is going on 2 months? This is happening? And hired servant that is poor and needy. And of course, that fits the TSA agents. They're poor and they're needy. They're not just coming out there just for the fun of it, right? Whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. And this is Babylon the Great, all right? Like I said before, I say it again. Esau Edom is not fit for the kingdom. He's definitely not fit. According to the book of Luke 9 and 76, all right? He's not fit for the rulership. No. And we get to 15th verse. It reads, at his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it. So every day at sundown, workers or servants in Babylon the Great, he and she, they're supposed to get their paychecks, their pay. All right? For he is poor and setteth his heart upon it. Hell yeah. Listen, when I was working and when I had jobs that paid every 2 weeks, man, I was already oppressed. All right? Mentally. I'm going to work. I'm like, damn, I got to wait another 2 weeks to get my damn check. You know what I'm saying? That's mental oppression. All right? For he set his heart, right? And set his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be a sin unto thee. All right? So this is a sin that Esau Edom is clearly committing. Big time. You're withholding people's checks. All right? Because of some political nonsense. But again, the higher ups, like Trump and his cronies and all the other politicians, they're going to see to it that they get their damn money. Oh, yes, they're going to get theirs. But everyone else will be asked out. Y'all heard? So that's going to conclude this lesson for today. And once again, hopefully edification is brought forth. With that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh. Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Makakudash, Brakatham, Kwam, Yasharal, Rise Israel. And as always, Abaratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.